Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we didn't think of something to say at the start.
No, we didn't.
No, never mind. Okay, let's just rock on with that, shall we? Okay.
Incoming.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Kia ora. Okay, let's try that again. So we are back. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Nothing like getting interrupted the second you start filming. Okay. Oh, and I've got to look at the right spot in the camera because I'm so used to doing this on my laptop, which has the camera in the middle. Now that we're filming on my phone, it's got the camera to the side. So I'm sorry if I'm not looking in the correct place. We'll keep trying on that. Right. What were we doing? Let's show off some yarn first. Yeah. Okay, we have been busy. We have been dying. Oh, hang on. That's for a later moment. Let's talk about, we have had a chance finally to restock some darkness. So go and look on the website. At the moment, this week, new on the website this week, is Postcards from Another Day, which, I know if I want to, hang on. If I get it to so that we can't see us, then it will focus on the yarn.
I'm just going to close this door.
Oh, okay. Yep, we forgot to close the door. Rat in the background. Okay, here we go. So the problem is I can't see when I'm doing it, whether I've got our faces in it or not. Hopefully that's working. Right, so that's Postcards from Another Day on Darkness and Breath of Spring on Darkness. And if you're lucky, Claire won't steal it all.
I'm just going to fondle it here.
Okay, it's not that kind of show, Claire.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Don't wipe it on your face.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like, but that's rude. No one wants face germs. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Oh, hang on. Let's try and do that, and hopefully you can see the yarn, not us. Ta-da! Right, so Breath of Spring, Postcards from Another Day on the website now, along with some other darkness. If you have been looking for it recently and we've been sold out, go keep checking. We are selling it. Now, the one thing I need to tell you about darkness, and I know I've been saying this for a long time, darkness is a special edition yarn. I could only ever do one batch of it. The thing you're super lucky about is that the very first and one and only batch that I could do of it was 390 kgs. That is nearly gone. I am down to the last two boxes. I think we're down to the last 2 boxes, and then once that is gone, it will be gone. So if you have been waiting for darkness but you haven't bought it because you've thought, this is a special edition of yarn that is never running out, you are incorrect. It is running out. So do not wait on it if you want it. I will let you know when we get down a little bit further, but it means that
I'm starting to feel panicky.
I know, I am too. It's like I'm trying very hard to keep my composure about the fact that we will have no more darkness. And if you haven't actually used darkness yet, or it's just sitting in your stash and you haven't used it yet, use it now, because you need to know that you are going to want more before it runs out.
It is the knitting equivalent of crack. Once you've knit with it, nothing else will quite be the same. It's like knitting with marshmallows.
I know, and like,
I love it.
I definitely cannot replace it because it has cashgora in it. The cashgora is a cross between a cashmere goat and an Angora goat. It's a super unusual fibre, and there is no more in New Zealand. There's no more cashgora animals, so therefore you cannot get cashgora fibre, which means I cannot make darkness.
The flock is gone.
The flock is gone, and so that is that. So when I said special edition one-off batch, I meant special edition one-off batch. Believe me, I have double checked with the mill to make sure they weren't lying to me, and they weren't. So
get it while you can, because fairly soon I'm going to build myself a barricade with all the cardboard boxes that Helen's got, and I'm just going to hold myself up with what's left of it.
Yeah. So yeah, some of it may have already found its way into my personal stash. Yeah. But anyway, let's
go and look on the website. There's more colours than just the greens. There's a whole load of colours in there, actually.
And
Yeah, because we sell out of the colours so quick when we put them in there. It's unusual to have such a selection, so go while you can.
Yes, and we are, as I have time in the dye queue, I am continuing to dye that. So there will be more colours coming. Right, so there we go. So that's the yarn I've got to show off this week, and I believe Claire has something she wants to show off. She's been busting to show you.
Well, we had Wool Feast a few weeks ago here in Christchurch, and so those people who came in and saw the sock yarn, which we dyed for Wool Feast, saw all the colours, because Deb let me do the colours. And I'm a sort of happy crayon sort of person, lots and lots of colours. And I did all these bright colours. We've actually sold out of a couple of them already, so I'm showing you what we've got left while we've got it left, because I don't know when the next batch of sock yarn's coming in.
Yeah, we're waiting for it to be spun at the mill.
Yep. So this is as it comes and goes. So sock yarn is 100% merino, superfine merino, high twist. So you don't need nylon in it if you've got a high twist, because it has a slightly bumpy texture from those twists. Yeah, there we go. And we dye it in the steamer cabinet, the great big tall cabinet in trays. So we dye it so it is semi-solid. If we wanted it a flat colour, we could put it through the vat. That's not what we want. We want the semi-solid, so we've got tones of it. We don't do the variegated and the speckled. Lots of people do buy theirs. If you want a semi-solid though, which goes nicely with all those speckled ones, that's what we do. And these are 100 gram skeins, so a lot of them are sold as 50s. This is 100 gram skeins, it's 400 metres, and you will easily get a pair of adult socks out of this, at least halfway up your calves. That's what I've managed to get, and I've got enormous feet. Seriously, I'm a 10 and a half, they're huge. So that's the rather fabulous red. I did a rainbow this year.
Okay, yeah, put it
in the middle.
That's
That's the orange, which is rather splendid, a rather lovely Satsuma-y, sunshiny sort of orange. I always think of these colours as fruit colours. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know.
This wasn't actually part of the rainbow, but it goes, yeah, so sweet. There we are, and that's the pink. That's really pretty.
In between, yeah.
And then we've got the green, which is really lovely. It's like Kermit the Frog on a sunny day. There we go.
We've been watching Muppets at the moment. It's very funny.
And there we go. That's a rather lovely pale blue. Now these are brilliant for accessories as well, because it being all merino, it's so soft. Not going to prickle your skin at all. Nobody's going to complain that. And it's also really good for baby wear for the same reason. And that's a rather glorious purple. There we go. So we've got a few skeins left of each.
I'm just going to say, just as an FYI, our yarn is not superwash.
No, it is not a superwash.
Yep. So, yep, it is a hand wash situation. I did accidentally throw my socks that Katie knitted me into the washing machine on a cold wash. They have felted, but what I have discovered about the felted sock star is they're actually really nice to wear. Like I do have to give them a bit of a stretch before I put them on. But yeah, felting my socks today was not the worst thing, because they are quite velvety when they are felted. So if you are a sock knitter and you do want to throw it in the machine, I would suggest knit them maybe slightly larger than you would normally would, just slightly. Like they didn't felt massively. But if you knit them slightly larger, then you too could have felted socks like me.
All of mine go through the machine, but they go in a lingerie bag on a cold wash where it's not a full wash. So usually, and that I do that with some of, like if I'm rinsing my knitwear and I've hand washed that, I throw it all in on a cold wash. And I don't mind taking the risk, but don't take my word for it.
Yeah. I mean,
I live life on the edge. You know?
Yeah. At your own risk to felt your socks.
Yes.
Yeah, like I say, mine was completely an accident. I just had picked them up with the washing and completely forgot they weren't sock bandit socks, that they are sock star socks, two different things. And yeah, so anyway, yes, slightly felted socks.
Okay. That's the socks.
Yep.
What else have
We actually have a list today. It's very exciting. We're going to try and keep on track, but we'll see how that goes. Right. So the next thing, I've got a finished object to show you. It's even blocked, although I just realised that I haven't cut my ends off yet. They are sewn in. But here we go. We'll just hold it up in front of in front of us so that you can see it, and hopefully you can see all the things. This is my Dragonfly sweater by Eleanor Mortensen. So this is knitted in Rebel Light.
What colours did you use?
I decided I wanted to play a little bit with the background colours. So the pattern is Postcards from Another Day. Obviously it looks different to the Postcards on Darkness because this is on Rebel Light. So yeah, it's the same colour though. So Postcards from Another Day is the pattern. I decided to keep my pattern the same colour, but I wanted to fade the background. So I started off with Doors of Time, and then between so there's a little bit here. Hang on, I've got to get the right bit. It's hard for me to see in the camera. Right, it's a little bit here, which is Secret Harmonies. And then it fades into Compass Turns. So it's a reasonably subtle fade. A little bit of a jump going on there, but I kind of like it. I quite like the dark at the top.
Hold it up and show the Beatles. I love the Beatles. They're just so cute.
You couldn't see the Beatles before? Okay, so kind of the very fun thing about this pattern is that you have charts for different, the yoke is kind of all the same, but then the charts for the bottom part you can put whatever. They have beetles, ones that go up and down, and also flowers that go up and down. So I decided to just do a whole row of beetles because I thought the beetles were super cool and fun, and also yeah, you can kind of mix and match the charts a bit. I chose not to do a chart on my sleeve. In the end, I decided that I thought the beetles around the middle were totally fine. So the modifications that let's see, what did I modify?
You mean you didn't knit it to pattern?
Have you met me, Claire? All right.
I'm astonished.
Look, I tried very hard. I tried very hard to knit to pattern. I started knitting to pattern, but there's a little bit of a story with this one, which you may already know if you've been following the social media. So this is the sweater that I messed up on. There we are, putting it politely. I messed up on this when I split for the sleeves, and I didn't realise until I started my first row of beetles and the pattern charts wouldn't fit correctly that I'd actually messed up.
You didn't knit a front sleeve and a back sleeve, did you?
I actually knit, well, the problem was that the charts for the beetles did not fit around, and I'm like, well, this is weird. I can't have I forget how many and a half beetles. Like I need full beetles. So then I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong, but then I ended up having a proper look at my sweater, and I somehow when I split for the sleeves, I messed it up the count, and I did have not exactly a front and a back sleeve, but kind of skew width sleeves. Yeah, kind of like that. But then also, yeah. But then also I had, when I had added the stitches under the arms, I had somehow miscounted, and I still can't figure out what I did. I genuinely do not know how I completely miscounted it, which meant that I ended up with extra, I think it was an extra 10 stitches or something that I was supposed to have, so which was half a pattern repeat, which is why my beetles were I forget exactly how many, I don't know, 10 and a half or whatever beetles. So then the frogging commenced. Well, first the tinking commenced. So the tinking commenced, but the problem is it takes so long. I had to tink back about a dozen rows or so. And that was taking me such a long time that I ended up going, this is ridiculous. So I ripped the needles out and just ripped back to the sleeve separation, which meant I had to pick up 400 stitches.
I bet no bad words were involved in that at all.
I'll tell you something. I didn't swear once.
Really?
Because...
Did you give yourself an ulcer?
No. Because, hello, Rebel Light, queen of yarn.
It is fab.
I didn't lose one single stitch.
It's not the losing of them, it's having to count them when you put them back on again.
I didn't count them. I just ripped it back to the point where I knew I had the correct number, because I had the correct number before the sleeve separation. Okay. It's just after the sleeve separation I did not, so I just fully ripped it back to the sleeve separation, picked up the 400 stitches.
I never have any confidence in my numbers.
And then, well, I knew that they were correct because of up until that point, because the pattern fitted. At the top, the yoke pattern fitted. So that meant that my my numbers before that had to be correct. It was the numbers after the sleeve separation that were the problem. So was I going to count again? No, that wasn't a thing. I just picked it all up. Then I had to count for the sleeve separation. So then I recounted.
And you couldn't fudge it?
Well, not when the sleeves were skew
with
and half a pattern repeat out. No, I couldn't fudge it. No.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So
I'm very slapdash.
yeah, like, come on. I mean, I'm slapdash too, but there's some things I can't. I would have just been walking around like this, or would have been, hello. It's like the entrance every time I walk into a room, and we're walking.
Like you say,
it's like the tango.
You just have to rush.
It's like the tango walk. Ta-da. Yeah, with my one back, one forward. Like, oh, honestly. So yeah, like, look, I look weird enough as it is without enhanced weirdness. So anyway, we so at that point where I picked up all the stitches again, then I decided that what I would do is, because I was trying to figure out if I could fudge it. It's like, can I just kind of add another half a pattern or repeat, or do I just take that pattern repeat out? Because the thing is, I tried it on, and it was like, oh, it fits, that's great. And then it's like, but hang on, now I've got these 10 stitches. Do I take the 10 stitches away? Because, obviously 10 stitches is going to be, will it be too tight if I take those 10 stitches away? But then otherwise my pattern doesn't fit. So what I opted to do was actually to add 20 stitches. So my pattern starts off at one size, and then it morphs at the sleeve separation into another size, which works perfectly for me because hello boobs. So it is actually the correct fit in the shoulders, and then has enough room for the yardage after that without turning me into a sausage. So it turned out to be a fortuitous mistake, because otherwise I probably would have knitted it a pattern repeat smaller, which I think still would have been fine, but it's a little bit looser and maybe slightly more comfortable, because at the end of the day I was kind of knitting this as a summer sweater, which means I haven't done full length sleeve. I've kind of done 3/4 sleeves. Did I follow a pattern? No, I didn't follow the pattern for the sleeves. The sleeves are just kind of made up decreases.
At best, patterns are just loose suggestions.
Yeah.
And serendipity is one of the knitting gods. So,
Yep.
Go with it.
Just go with it. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I've done. So so I've got to admit the sleeves are maybe slightly tighter towards the cuff, although I don't really mind it, because you guys know me, I am always like this. I'm always pushing my sleeves up, so having slightly
You've
tight.
got skinny little wrists anyway. So,
it fits fine. Yeah. It's just it's not roomy on the cuff, but that's, as I say, it's going to be fine. It's a 3/4 sleeve. I'm going to push it up anyway. It won't make any difference. It's probably better for me to have a slightly tighter cuff, because I'm going to loosen it by constantly pushing it up anyway. There we go. That's my rationale. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm going to be excited to wear this. I don't know when I'm going to get to wear it, because of course I have just finished it. The weather has gone freezing freaking cold all week. Shout out to all the people in the rest of the South Island who have had just a wild week of weather. We, touch wood, have missed the brunt of it.
Yes. Poor old Kaikoura, they've had to break out the snorkels again.
Things. Yep, and down Oamaru, and like, we're feeling for you guys. And there's been snow, there's been floods, there's been it's been wild.
Is it the apocalypse?
Yeah. No, that's
it was due around now,
next Tuesday. Like, honestly, it feels like I'm literally getting emails every second day from the couriers about delays to the couriers because, to the network because of weather. And it's been like that probably for the last month.
Yeah.
So pretty much at least two emails every week. Sorry, we've got delays. Sorry, there's no ferry. Sorry, there's
Yeah. For those of you who aren't in New Zealand, we've got North Island, South Island.
Yeah.
Other little islands, but all the traffic between them goes on the ferry. And when the Cook Strait, which is the bit of water in between the two, it's one of the worst crossings in the world. It's really rocky. The ferries keep breaking down.
Yeah.
The weather's ghastly.
Yeah.
Huge waves. Boats can't go back and forth, so the trucks can't get on the boats. There's no tunnel. You don't really want a tunnel because earthquakes. So it kind of knocks all of the shipping out. So we end up waiting for stuff. If it's made or brought into the North Island, they get it first. If it's brought into the South Island, because we've both got ports, the North Island has to wait. So everybody's always waiting for stuff here. And in winter, it just all goes to poo, really. So yeah. So if you're waiting for yarn from us and you're wondering where the hell it is and why haven't we sent it, we have sent it. It's
somewhere on a truck.
It's sitting on a truck
Yep.
with probably quite a cross man named Dave who's on his third day in Picton waiting for the ferry to leave.
That's making me laugh because my brother-in-law's a truckie. So Darren, no, not Dave, but yeah. So there we go. So this is the saga of my Dragonfly sweater. It's a lovely pattern, 10 out of 10, would knit it again. I'm super excited to wear it. Once it's actually warm enough to wear, I will take a modelled photo, which you will potentially see at some point on the... Geez, that's pushing it a bit, glamour shots. You will potentially see somewhere on the social media at some point, because I keep having to put my face out there because for some god unknown reason you guys seem to like it.
We tarted up this week. We cleaned our glasses.
We did. We cleaned our glasses. So posh, yeah. Look, please don't expect makeup and lipstick. This is not a happening thing. It's like, look, I cleaned my glasses. I think my shirt's clean. Although it does have a hole, but I don't think you can see that. That's all good. Anyway, let's carry on. So there we are. 10 out of 10. Love it. Perfect for Rebel Light. No other, I was going to say no notes, that's not true, no other notes on knitting this. And totally enjoyed it. Now, on to the next thing on our list. Actually, I thought we'd have a little chat because I thought I knew exactly what I was casting on next. Turns out
you got to finish some other ones first.
Yeah. I know, but when I finish the other ones, okay, they're coming up.
Half-finished projects make me itchy.
I'm a little worried that you guys are getting lulled into a false sense of how fast I knit, because you've seen me doing mashup sweaters where I'm like, ooh, 3 sweaters in 3 weeks. Like, this is a complete aberration. And now what you're going to see over probably the next, I'm not going to say 3 episodes, but maybe the next month or so, is you're going to see me potentially finish 3 sweaters. Now, the reason you're going to see this is because I have had 3 sweaters that have just needed sleeves and the neckline done on them, and then I got very sidetracked to making mashup sweaters. So I've had 3 garments sitting there that just need sleeves and just need a neckline. So the plan is that I'm going to finish these in fairly rapid succession because I'm not allowed to cast on anything else until I finish them. Because
we are literally knee deep in half-finished projects sitting here at this desk.
There's only one there. The other one's at home.
I'm a monogamous knitter.
The other one's at home.
It's making me twitchy.
I know. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried that you guys are going to expect me to front up with a brand new sweater every 2 weeks. It's not that kind of podcast. Just before you get excited about it, that's not what's happening here. This is a complete aberration, because now what will happen is you will see these 3 getting finished, and then you will not see another one for probably 2 months. So just as a warning, if you're here for the knitting, I probably wouldn't be. If you're here for the yarn, then
Yeah, we've got lots of that to show you.
we've got plenty of that to show you. And a side note, we're trying to sell you yarn. Just so you know. Yeah. Okay, it's that kind of podcast. That's why we're here.
It's because we're being really subtle about it. You might not have noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sock style.
Yeah. Right, so there we are. That's that sweater that we are talking about. But so my cue may have got a little bit disrupted this week because I thought I knew exactly what I was casting on with Rebel Light next, and not to say that I won't, but Andrea Mowry just dropped her Rhinebeck sweater for the year. So I thought we would talk about that because it's very funny, because Claire hadn't seen it until I showed her the photo this afternoon. And we had maybe slightly different reactions to it. So for those of you that don't know, it's called Antipities. Hopefully there's going to be a lovely picture of it around about here, because I'm hoping that I can get the kid to edit one in. If not, like, I'll put a link in the notes, and you're just going to have to go and look at it. But in the meantime, we're just going to talk about our reactions to the Rhinebeck sweater.
I warn you now, it's disturbing. Yeah. Content warning.
She's disturbed. I'm not disturbed. Well, my immediate reaction to the sweater was, ooh, this will be fabulous in Rebel Light.
Really, my reaction to it was that she's done this to really piss off all the slightly neurodivergent knitters out there who are going to look at that and go, oh no, because it looks like she's misread the pattern halfway across, because half is lovely, the other half is lovely, but they're not the same sweater. and they almost look like they don't line up. And it's like, if you've ever been somewhere, and I had a house like this once, where the wallpaper doesn't quite match, and you sit there looking at it going, oh no, it doesn't quite, it does that thing to your head. It drives me bonkers. So
now I'm a bit worried about if I knit the sweater and wear it in the day. I'm going to have to wear it on the days that Claire isn't here, because she's not going to cope.
The colours are beautiful. I like the patterns. I just don't think the two different patterns should be on the same sweater.
Yeah, and
you should just walk around, showing one side.
Yeah.
I find it disturbing to look at.
My initial reaction to it was, ooh, cool, because it's not just another top-down kind of in the round circular yoke pattern. Whoops, like I've just knitted. No, but this has got bugs on it. Come on, this is great. But yeah, a lot of the patterns. You know me, I love a colour work thing, sweater, anything. But yeah, a lot of the patterns after a while do tend to blur into one, because they're all the circular yoke, which, again, I love. So this to me was something a little bit exciting and different, where the colour work is placed and the stripes across the back and on the sleeves. I'm always here for a stripe. So that was my initial reaction, was, ooh. And also, I'm not quite as anal about some asymmetry. But
I find it to be the visual equivalent of chewing tinfoil.
Yeah, like I can fully see why she's done it the way she has. And it is because to get the tops of the pattern lined up, they do have to be slightly, it means the middles don't line up. Because otherwise, when you're knitting it, when you're doing colour work, you're going to have colour work on, like, you would have one side that's higher than the other. So again, people probably wouldn't like that. But also to do the colour work, because you're knitting it in the round, you're only going to have colour work on one side, which is going to be incredibly difficult unless you want to carry your floats all the way around the other side of the sweater, which no one's going to want to do that. So I can see why she's constructed it the way she has. It doesn't bother me as much, although I shall take it under advisement, and I will think about when and if I cast it on, which, there's a high likelihood I will at some point, even if it's not my next cast on. I will take it under advisement, Like I'm pretty sure, without buying the pattern, I'm fairly sure it's going to be relatively easy to just pick the side you like the most and do that all the way around. Like I think that is also a valid choice if that kind of
The two patterns are pretty.
Yeah. If the kind of off center bothers you that much, then that's potentially what I'd suggest you do. If you and you like the pattern, just pick a side. Pick a side and do that. Like I think that would be fine. Now, because the other thing about this pattern, of course, is that the gauge is a little bit drunk. So I'm like, Andrea, really? The gauge is, I've written it down, 27.25 stitches. Like, nobody is doing the 0.25. Come on. So
I mean, would you really knit your gauge swatch and keep doing it, trying to get that gauge?
That
I mean, it would even depend on your mood.
I mean, you know, I get it does make a difference, but like, it's not. Now I'm just thinking, it's not even a super fitted sweater. No, I mean, because I think I can't remember off the top of my head, and I haven't got it in front of me. I think it's probably at least 10 centimeters of ease, etc., etc. Like you know, is the 0.25 going to make that much difference? And if it is, like, kind of go one way or the other.
It may well be technically correct, but you know, for those beginner knitters out there who are doing a slightly more challenging project for the first time, perhaps don't worry about the 2.5.
Well, I mean, like, to be clear, so I had a look at it, and the yarn she has used as her main yarn, because of course the contrast is spin cycle, the yarn she's used for her main yarn has 20% cotton. So that possibly also accounts for the slightly weird gauge, because you're going to put cotton in it. Plant fibre doesn't behave the same as wool.
No stretch.
Okay, so no stretch, no memory, and it's going to compress more, I would think, which is probably why the gauge is a bit tighter. Than if she was using 100% wool yarn. So I look at that sweater and I go immediately, looking at it before I looked at gauge and everything, I just went Rebel Light. Now the normal gauge for a Rebel Light sweater is a 24 stitch gauge. I think technically the pattern for this was 25. Did I ignore that? Yes, I did. And just knit it at my normal 24-ish. Do I swatch? No, I don't. And
Helen does our swatches.
Helen does the swatches. Now, I don't advise that you have someone else swatch for you. I knit with this yarn all the time. I know how it's going to behave. I know the fit of the jersey I want. I don't care to have things super fitted. As long as it goes over my body, I'm all good. So these kinds of things, a stitch here or there doesn't really bother me. Okay, but however, this is about a the Antipities is about 20. If you go with 27 stitches instead of the 27.25, that's a 3 stitch difference. Okay, that is going to make a difference to your gauge when you're knitting. If you're knitting Rebel at its usual, Rebel Light at its usual gauge of 24 stitches. So
do you find you knit a bit tighter when you do colour work as well, though? Because I do.
No, I don't.
I do.
Yeah, some people do, and because I see it a lot, and people will be giving advice and go, "Oh, you have to go up a needle size in your colour work." Like that would not work for me. If anything, I think I'm probably a bit looser because I knit two-handed. So I do my usual Old English throwing, plus I knit continental, which I'm not as familiar with. I mean, I have knitted an entire sweater continental just to practice with gauge, but because I only do it when I'm doing colour work, I'm not necessarily as consistent. So for myself, I don't change because I think I actually knit slightly looser with colour work. So it's not anyway, you can't see any difference, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so what I'm going to suggest, if you do want to knit Antipities and you do want to knit it at the usual 24 stitch gauge for Rebel Light, then drop a pattern size. Okay.
Because you'll have more stitches per, I say inch, per length compared to hers. So go down a size.
Yep, so go down a size. Like I worked it, I mean, honestly, back of the envelope, just roughly worked it out. It's about, because I mean, 3 stitches as compared to 24, it's a little bit over a 10% difference. and her pattern sizes work out roughly 10% between each size.
Yeah.
So just if I was knitting this, I would pick my usual size and then drop one and then go down one. And
the other thing you change is?
The other thing that I always have to change on Andrea's patterns is to add length. She does like a cropped sweater, and like honestly, there's cropped and then there's cropped. And I've just had to do the same thing on the darkness sweater I'm knitting now, which I'll tell you about next time. But like honestly, I don't want to lift my arms and show you guys the underneath of my boobs. So like genuinely, I normally have to add, I was going to say 3 inches, because for some reason I do the length of my sweaters in inches. I don't know, it's just easier, it's a smaller number to remember. I'm normally adding approximately 3 inches onto whatever Andrea says.
Her patterns do tend to finish at the small of your waistline. I'm shaped like a barrel. My bust is the same size as my waist. That's fine. I've had 3 kids. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat the potatoes. But I just add a little bit more because there's more of me to cover, and I don't want it hitting at that point because that's the same place my jeans finish, and I'm all sort of bulky around the middle. I just add on a few inches to everything, and you're looking at about 10 centimetres, which is not a lot, but you want to make sure you've got that in your yardage for your yarn as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So err on the side of caution. Add an extra skein of your main colour, I'd say.
That was what I was trying to work out, is what yardage I'd want for the skein, for the main colour. And I mean, I'm roughly thinking it wouldn't be a bad thing to have an extra skein, especially if you know you're going to add length to it. And it's definitely something I would do. Like, I'm not particularly long-waisted or anything like that, but I always have to add in a bit of length. So,
and for those of us with enormous gangly arms, you're going to want a little bit of extra length available anyway, in case you need to knit the cuffs a bit longer. And I find that because I do have long arms, and because I do need the extra bit on the waist, on pretty much any pattern, if I'm adapting it, unless it's something very specific going on at the bottom, I'll either add more of the ribbing, or quite often I'll double it, and the same on the cuffs, or I'll add those centimetres immediately after the ribbing before the pattern begins, because visually it keeps the pattern where it should be, and I've just added the depth below it.
So the other thing with this is you will need contrast colours, and this is where mini skeins come into play. So obviously Andrea has used Spin Cycle for her colours, as she often does, but as evidenced by the Trinnigan that I'm wearing, so this again an Andrea Mowry pattern, the Trinnigan that I am wearing, which I experimented on because I was pretty sure when I'm just trying to get to see if I can show you my sleeve.
Up a bit, just a bit.
Ta-da!
That's it. Yeah.
You will have also probably seen photos of this online. This pattern was originally done with a Spin Cycle as a contrast as well. And I my budget doesn't stretch to Spin Cycle. So, but I used leftovers on this. I used leftover mini skeins from the Magic Lands wrap that I knitted. I test knit for Amber. So I ended up with all these tiny balls of 24 colours, and I was like, what am I going to do with these? And I was like, if I put them into stash, they're going to stay there. So I was like, I immediately need to find something to cast on. So I cast on the Trinnigan. Now we're getting a Trinnigan story. I cast on a Trinnigan, and decided to use all my little bits and just splice them together and knit them as though they were Spin Cycle. So that works really well, which is also going to work for Antipities, because I am going to suggest to you that you buy 10 mini skeins that you like the colour, that like the look of, possibly less if you're doing a smaller size. I was looking at about the middle size, so kind of around the size that I would knit, and I figured that with the yardage they were wanting there, or meterage, it was about roughly 380 odd meters or something. I think that might have been a size or two bigger than what I would knit, but 380 meters for us is 10 mini skeins. So then you can do exactly the same thing, and you could either, I mean, I haven't I haven't looked at the pattern yet, but you could either do each one of those stripes as basically a different colour, or you could just do what I did with this one and split splice them together, and as they roll through, just keep knitting, which is kind of a little bit how Spin Cycle works anyway with the long colour repeats. So,
and you can also make sure that those colours that you pick for the minis are high enough in contrast to your main colour. Because one of the most heartbreaking things about knitting is when you get someone who's put in all the work to do colour work and they haven't got enough contrast between their background colour and their contrast colour.
Yep.
And it just sort of disappears, which is so sad. And if you've got a very variegated yarn, or one that's got lots of colours in it and they sort of merge, but it's too close to your background colour, the whole thing's going to look muddy, which is just such a shame because you put the work in.
Yep.
If you want to do it with the minis, if you want to choose them and you're ordering online, you can always contact us and say, these are the colours I want, can you pick ones that will contrast with whatever you've chosen as your background? So we make sure we get one that's far enough away, because it's hard to see when you're not in the shop.
Yeah, and I totally get that. Like, I often do that for people. I get emails through and people will say, I want to knit this, and I like this colour and what goes with it. Yeah. So, like, if you are emailing me, please be as specific as you can. Yeah. Please don't just email me and say, what colours shall I knit this in? I don't know what colours you like. Okay? Yeah. So...
Or brown.
Yeah, well, to be fair, brown has been the colour of the week this week. You have been buying all the brown. So we've had a massive run on I'm Not Lost and Six Gun Lover. Burning History, we haven't had a massive run on this week, but that's probably because you guys are all waiting for Rebel Worsted to come through, which is on the drying rack, but just because of the short week, it hasn't come out yet. So that will happen next week. But yeah, honestly, everything that's brown has been like rushing out the door this week, so that's really, I mean, I'm a brown lover. I know there's lots of people who are not into brown. This colour here, so that everybody thinks is black, this is Drift Into That Void. This is really, really, really dark brown, but most people see it as black.
I'm coming round to the brown. I'm dealing with childhood trauma. My school uniform was brown.
Mine was green, but that's next week.
It's been 40 years since I left school, so I really need to get over it because I do love brown. It's just I don't wear them. I really should.
Yeah, I have the same issues with green. So, but yeah, we're going to talk more about greens next week. But yeah, so anyway, if you do need help choosing colours, then please just email me and I will work it out for you.
She said colours. You know, I love colours.
Okay, colours. When it's clear, she wants all the bright ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a My Little Pony paint palette. I love it. Bright colours. Yeah.
It's not very outlaw at all, but there we go. You know me, I like a colour that's not a colour.
Oh, we've got, sorry, no, we're not talking about that until next week.
Yeah.
Sorry, no.
Okay, we're going to go because the VAT needs to be turned off, and I also will have to update you on the new VAT, which we might have more of an update next week. All I can say is the plumbing's done. Okay, yay for the plumbers! And I think we're out of here.
We are.
Okay,
let's go.
Bye.
Bye.